guys, I am Shivani Saxena and welcome to another episode of Outside Insight, a competition preparation series. In Outside Insight, I invite the national, regional, zonal or campus level winners of all the important competitions that happen in any B school, and we ask these panelists their secret mantras towards their winning PPT. In today's video, we have with us the national winners of Nestle's 4P Challenger, and I'm really glad to be sharing the screen now with Kuntrav Chadda and Akash Mandal. I have a list of compiled questions which I'm going to ask them one by one, and let's see what they have to answer. So the first question I'm going to throw at them is, can you elaborate for us what is the usual structure of Nestle 4P and what are the number of rounds involved, what each of these rounds require us to do?
We had an initial shortlisting round where the case solution had to be submitted to the company, from which 5 teams were shortlisted across each campus. Amongst the winning teams from the campus round, a few teams were shortlisted for the final round, which was held at Nestle's office in Gurgaon. Each round was, I think, 15 minutes each, which included the presentation as well as the Q&A.
Okay, so my next question is, can you throw some light on the kind of skill sets that you guys brought to the table? So we also had Gitesh in the team who couldn't join us in the call today. But can you just throw some light on what each of you had to offer while you are doing any competition?
One of the basic skills every competition requires is idea generation, thinking outside the box. It's always good to have a pool of ideas to pick from. So I kept bouncing off as many ideas of my teammates, and after a few brainstorming sessions where we critically analyzed the feasibility and the uniqueness of our ideas, that we were able to narrow it down to a few. Moreover, I believe the power of storytelling is consequential. That's where my PPT skills came to good use. I used simple yet effective visual vocabulary in order to convey our ideas better.
So I believe diverse skill sets are crucial for any B school competition. I would recommend to all the juniors watching that please do not stick to your friends in these competitions and try making as well-rounded teams as possible. In fact, it is better if you have conflicting thoughts with respect to each other, since the outcome would be more foolproof and would be able to reach out to a larger TG. The key skill sets that I brought onto the table for 4Ps was my knowledge in branding. I had a brilliant summer internship in branding, and that helped me understand the key needs to satisfy the problem and also to help come up with solutions that are implementable. Another bit was my enthusiasm for direction. I wrote a script and directed the sample commercial that we made and submitted to the company.
So my next question is, so specifically each of these competitions differ in the way that they want us to do different things. Some competitions lay emphasis on research, some lay emphasis on the ideation or the new product development, and some focus on creating, let's say, marketing campaigns. So as far as Nestle 4P is concerned, could you tell us what was the focus of this competition, and if you have any metrics in your mind which defined which PPT will win and which one will go to the next round?
With respect to this particular case study, a lot of information was already available in the annexure section. However, once we understood our target audience from the case, we reached out to a sample of this target audience for our primary research. We also visited some retailers and stall owners to again understand their views on the product. We then followed it up with a detailed secondary research to understand the market dynamics and online reviews of the product, since this product had seen an online launch much before it hit the stores. The key requirements, however, for me was understanding the problem and providing ways to fix that problem. So we devised a strategy that encompassed all channels of sale. And being a marketing competition, we chose to show our creative flair and created a sample advertisement, which was in line with the product's branding and also included aspects of our solution. Now, this isn't necessary, but many people generally do it. So I would advise you to do it if you have extra time in hand.
So when it comes to making a PPT, some people like to start with the case synopsis by giving a summary, while some feel that this isn't the right way to do to give everything out right there in the first slide. So can you tell us what flow you guys followed in the winning PPT for Nestle Poppy?
So we essentially divided our presentation into three parts, starting with research, both primary and secondary, from which the key takeaways were our market and product insights. Along with that, we also differentiated the buyer persona in our customer study. The second part entailed the strategy and the big ideas, which was the core solution to the problem statement given by Nestle. Lastly, we focused on the marketing plan, which included the timeline for the execution, followed by the scalability and financials of the plan. To top it all off, we also presented a sample advertisement.
Another trouble which people have is how to quantify data, like how to quantify whatever information they are gathering from, let's say, their primary research, secondary research. So, what do you think is the importance of quantifying data for competitions like these? Any of you can start.
Quantitative data wasn't a major contributor in FOPs per se, since the qualitative data eclipsed the quantitative data a bit in our case. However, it did help us to calculate repeat occurrences of similar keywords, similar expressions of describing how they felt about the product. It was these parameters that helped us build a solution for the TG, but like I said, it wasn't a major contributor in our case.
So my next question is, a lot of people get stuck at this, making a budget for a competition. So can you guide us through what are the basic steps involved? I'm not asking to elaborate on what you guys actually did, but tell us for a start how one can begin making the budget and what all elements should one.
The financials helped us explain the implementation and feasibility of the ideas. In my opinion, budgets are a good to have slide in presentations with respect to marketing case studies, and one shouldn't really waste a lot of time in making them. In our case, we made a very simple P&L by estimating how much percent of the market we're looking to capture, and we subtracted it by all the marketing costs that would be incurred by our campaigns.
Include in that. So my next question is from the perspective of all the competitions that you participated in. Are there any frameworks, marketing frameworks, strategic management frameworks, or frameworks from, let's say, another specialization, which you guys found very useful and you repeatedly use them in all of your solutions? So are there any frameworks like these?
This case study had a very unique problem statement, which also required us to have a different approach. Since there weren't any frameworks related to repurchase that we knew of, we went ahead and developed our own. We called it the 4R strategy for repeat purchase. The 4Rs being record, reminders, retargeting, and recommendations. This framework helped us in structuring our ideas as well as the presentation in general.
So, as Akash rightly said, we didn't directly use any frameworks per se, but as marketing students, we are preconditioned to think through the lens of marketing frameworks. So, as the name suggests, OPs was a part of the case, while the product and the price were given, but we did have to work on the promotion place bit. We also used the hooks model in practice in one of the ideas, but in a very modified way. Here, I'd like to encourage your viewers not to be bound by the models and try to think uniquely. They may want to use marketing frameworks as a starting point, but shouldn't ever limit themselves to it.
So my last question is, what is that one quality which you think you guys had which made you the winner of Nestle Poppy? Let's just take you to the flashback and just tell us one quality which you felt, one thing you felt you guys did right, which the competing teams didn't do right.
In hindsight, I feel there are a couple of things which stood out in comparison to the other teams. Firstly, we always had a very customer centric approach which helped us understand the problem and the product better. We tailored our solutions in a way that would give more value to the customers and create a delightful experience. Secondly, our ideas struck a balance between innovation and feasibility, which made it very convincing. And finally, our in-depth preparation for the Q&A made a difference.
Here I totally agree with Akash. The other factors I credit to the win is that we played to each other's strengths. We prepared well for the Q&A by constantly being critical of our ideas. Another reason, in my opinion, is concentrating on only a few competitions, since once the competition season starts, you will be bombarded by so many competitions out there. It is always advisable to choose only a few good ones and focus on them so that you can devote more time on the brainstorming sessions. Also, we chose not to fall in love with our ideas, since it leaves no room for improvement, and considering it to be the best idea would be next to foolishness. Always just try working on refining your idea, making it better, more implementable. That'll be my suggestion over here.
Thank you so much, Gunpurab and Akash, for taking out time from your busy schedule and joining me in this video and sharing your outside insight with us. I'm very sure that whatever you shared with us today is going to be of immense help for everybody who is going to watch this video. If you guys found something useful in this video, then show some love by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. You can also reach out to Gunpurab and Akash on their LinkedIn profiles, the link of which is in the description of the video. All the best for the upcoming competitions, and I'm sure you're going to rock them.